Hey guys, it's Caitlin. Today's video is going to be my May book haul. Now I have 24 books here, which is not good, but I did it and I can't go back now. So I'm just gonna jump right on in. The first one I have here is When Dimple Met Rishi by Zendaya Menon. I think that's how you pronounced it. I'm not going to be able to go through like what every single one of these is about in detail just because there's too many here to go into it. All I know about this is it's about like arranged marriage in modern day times. This boy and girl, he knows about this arranged marriage. I don't think she does. And they go to summer camp together. That's about it. I think that's all I know. So yeah, and this cover is super cute. Next, I have Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. The only thing I know about this one is it's like AI romance, I think. Yeah, it says she's a soldier, he's a machine. I think that's what it's about. Artificial intelligence romance. This cover is absolutely beautiful as well. What's it look like naked? Oh, it's just plain black naked, but the cover is super pretty on this one. Next, I have The Crown's Fate by Evelyn Skye. I am planning on reading this one in the month of June. I read The Crown's Game in the month of May. This is the second one to that series. I believe this is a completed duology. At least I'm fairly certain I heard on Jessie the Reader's channel that this was just going to be a duology. So this is the second book. And this is about two people who are competing to become the Imperial Enchanter. That's all I wanted to know going in, and it turned out really good. But yeah, Crown's Fate, super excited to read this one. The next one has been out for a while, and that is Splintered by A.G. Howard. I think this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and that's all I know about it. I've heard some pretty mixed things about these. Oh, that's pretty. And what's cool is the words, like, I don't know if you can tell, they may look black on camera, but the words are actually purple in this one, and I think in every book the words are a different color, which is really cool. So yeah, Splintered by A.G. Howard. This next one I wasn't planning on reading. It didn't sound all that interesting to me, and then my sister-in-law read it and she said it was really good. So I decided to pick up Dorothy Must Die by Daniel Page. I think it's not really a Dorothy like a Wizard of Oz retelling, I don't think. I think it's more the stuff that happened in the Wizard of Oz still happened in here, but it's about Dorothy letting the power go to her head, basically, and she turns evil. I think that's what goes on here. The way Jess explained it sounded way cooler, and she convinced me that I needed to read it, so I bought it. Next was pretty much a cover by, but I also read a book by her. I read 2 books by her, and I loved them. She co-authored them with another author, where like this one she co-authored. And this is These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I read The Illuminae Files, the first 2 by Amy Kaufman, and I really, really loved them. It's by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So I'm hoping I like this one. This was basically just a cover by. All I know about this is it's sci-fi. I really know nothing else. Like most of these books, like I've said plenty of times before, I don't really like knowing too much going in. Hopefully I like it. Next is Furthermore by Tahira Mafi. This is her middle grade book. I haven't read anything by her yet. What else do I have by her? I have the Shatter Me trilogy. I haven't read that yet, and I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing with myself. But this cover is absolutely beautiful. All I know about this is the main character's dad, I believe, gets captured or like kidnapped, and she has to go find him, and this cover makes it seem like she's a colorless person in a colorful world. I've heard that before, but then I heard somebody say that's not actually what's going on, but I don't know. Like I said, I go into things pretty blind, so, and I thought this was just beautiful, so I had to have it. Next was another cover by for me, and that was Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. Like I said, a cover by. This cover is absolutely beautiful. I don't know too much. I don't know anything about this actually. I mean, it looks like a Western according to the cover. That's about all I know. But I know a lot of pretty big authors have blurbed the back, like Alexandra Bracken, Megan Shepherd, Mindy McGinnis, Jodi Meadows, Susan Dennard. They all have really good things to say about this, so I figured if all these really big authors liked this book, I might as well give it a try. So there's that. Then I have Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. I believe this is a Peter Pan retelling. That's all I know. It's a retelling, it's Peter Pan, and that's all I needed to know. I feel like I could fly through this book. It's so little, and the words are pretty decent size, so I'm sure I could get through this really quick. Next is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I've heard lots of people say that I needed to read it, that it was really, really good, so I bought it. I mean, and it's pretty. I mean, this cover is really cool too. I didn't realize it's a circus tent in a hand. That's really cool. Yeah, this book is super heavy. It's like not quite as heavy as the paperback of our The Darkest Minds, but it's still really heavy. It's like really dense. That's weird. But The Night Circus. Next is one that looks like it was written on Wattpad and then made into a physical book, and that is Textrovert by Lindsay Summers. And I believe this is about a boy and a girl who accidentally switch phones at a party, and they can't get the correct phone back for a week, I think it is. So they have to text each other the messages that they receive. Like, say she receives a message on the phone that she got from his mom, she has to text her cell phone to let him know that his mom is looking for him or whatever. And I think they end up falling in love that way. I mean, it's a contemporary, so I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Yeah, like it says, can you fall in love with someone you've never met? Excited about that one. And it's super short, and like a lot of it is like there's text messages in here like that. So that's pretty cool. Won't take me long for that. Then I got The Queen of the Tierling by Erica Johansson. I got this one because I got The Invasion of the Tierling, which is the second book in this series. I got the second one on Book Outlet because it was cheap. And then like this one wasn't as cheap, so then I just bought it on Amazon because Amazon's the best. Oh, that's really pretty. And this actually comes with, I just noticed this a few seconds ago, it comes with a ribbon bookmark, which is pretty neat. Yeah, these covers are just so beautiful, but they're those covers that get fingerprinted super easy. Like there's a huge smear right there, and there's a huge smear right there too. It's one of those books where I'm going to have to read it without the dust jacket because it's just going to ruin the cover if I don't. I don't like doing that, but what can you do? And it's got deckled edges. I love deckled edges. And then I got A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I have already read this, and I have already loved it. This is the third book in a series, but this is the conclusion to the first trilogy. I believe that's how it goes. Yeah, anything Sarah J. Maas puts out, I will definitely read. She has become one of my favorite authors, and I think this is my all-time favorite series that I have read. And yeah, it's about fairies, and like this girl killed a wolf. She thought it was a wolf, but it turns out it was a fairy, so as punishment she has to go live in Printheon with the fairies for the rest of her life, and then blah-de-blah, you'll have to read it to find out, because it was just the best. Next are 3 books in a series. They're not in order, but these are all I could find. I found these at a place called Puddle Ducks, which is a secondhand store where my family camps. Like, we camp like 3 hours from us. My grandparents have had this camper with like a built-on attachment, like a permanent camping spot since before I was born, and I'm 23. I'll be 23 on Monday. Yeah, I found these at Puddle Ducks. They were super cheap, and I've been wanting to get this series because this is a series that has gotten me into reading. And I have found the paperbacks, but I do not like the paperbacks. I don't want the paperbacks, and I found 3 of them in hardcover. So I got The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket, The Reptile Room, which is book 2, and I got The Austere Academy, which is book 5. There are 13 books in this series. I don't think I finished the complete series, just because the series was in my elementary school library. That's where I got them. And I was reading them in like 5th grade, and then when I went into 6th grade, I went to the middle school, and the library up there didn't have them. And yeah, I just never finished the entire series, but the series is great. It's about 3 kids who their parents die in a fire, and they have to go live with this guy. I don't even remember who he is to them, but he just wants their money because these kids are super rich now that their parents are dead. I mean, they were super rich before, but now all the money goes to these kids, and this guy seems to think that since he's gonna be their guardian, he gets all the money. He's super evil, and it's like these kids are trying to convince the authorities that this guy is a douche canoe. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and these are super short. I could fly through this no problem. Next, I have a book that I bought because Reagan over at Prue's Project loves this book. That is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, I think the only thing I know about this is this entire book takes place in one day. Like, this entire book follows one guy, one day of his life. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. I haven't really heard exactly what it's about. I just know that Reagan over at Prue's Project loves it, and we usually have similar tastes, so I'm gonna be reading that. Then I have a behemoth of a book. I said in one of my previous videos that I don't read thrillers, and everybody knows Stephen King is like the king of thrillers, but I found Under the Dome, which I don't think, it's not horror, but I don't know exactly what it is. I watched like an episode and a half of the show, and I thought it sounded really interesting. But I didn't want to complete the show without reading the book first, so I went and got the book, and it's freaking massive. It's one of those awesome floppy paperbacks. But I've never read anything by Stephen King before, so I figured I'd just pick something up and try it. So yeah. Next is a book that I received from the author in exchange for a review, and that is Corsana by Charles Wellington II. This is book 1, The Phalanx Syndicate. I don't really know what this is about. All I know is there's goblins, orcs, giants, and dragons. And that just sounds freaking amazing. It's not too long, so I should be able to fly through this thing. The words are pretty little, but I can figure it out. I can get it done. So yeah, that's pretty much all I know about that. So thank you to the author for sending me this book. The next 2 are the books I got in my fairy loot. You can go check that video out. I will have it linked down below. The theme was Warriors and Legends, I think. I can't remember exactly what it was. But my fairy loot this month came with 2 books, and the first one was World Mythology in Bite-Sized Chunks by Mark Daniels. This is just, like the title says, it's world mythology in super small chunks. Like, this is about the Mayans, and there's literally there's maybe 10 pages here of just information about the Mayans, and then it goes to the Incas. And I love mythology. It's like one of my favorite things. Like, there's Greek mythology. I love Greek mythology. The other book that was in my fairy loot was Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh. And I actually had this book pre-ordered, and then I canceled it because I had a suspicion that this was what was going to be, and I didn't want to get 2 copies. So I was super, super happy that this was the book that was in this month's fairy loot. And I don't know too much about it. I mean, all I know is I've heard that it's like a Mulan retelling, but then I've heard that it has that kind of vibes because the main character has to dress up as a boy. but that's like, I've heard that's the only thing that resembles Mulan, so I wouldn't say that it's exactly a Mulan retelling, but regardless, I'm super, super excited to read it. I haven't read anything by Renee Ahdieh yet, but going to get to this one soon. Then I have the book that came in my Owl Crate for this month, and the Owl Crate theme was, I think it was like comic explosion or something. And the book that came in this month's was Eliza and Her Monsters, and this is by Francesca Zappia. This is about a girl who writes, I think she writes comics. Yes, she writes a webcomic series called Monstrous Sea. And her identity is a secret. Like online, she goes by Lady Constellation. And nobody knows that Eliza is this. And then this web creator or whatever. And then her secret gets out. Ooh. That's all I know. And it looks pretty freaking awesome. And I'm super excited about it. There's like instant messaging and stuff in here, so that's pretty cool. I love it when books do that. And there's also some pictures because I think she draws too. 2 more books to go. The next one is Everland by Wendy Spinelli. This is, I think, a Peter Pan retelling. I think this one's a Peter Pan. The next one in the series is Alice in Wonderland, but this one is Peter Pan retelling. I haven't heard too much about it. That's all I know is that it's a Peter Pan retelling. It's pretty short. It's got the awesome deckled edges. Cover's really pretty. And yeah, that's all I want to know going into it. Yeah. Retelling, you all know that retellings are my favorite, so here you go. And lastly, I have Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. Now, I just finished reading Lady Midnight, and I loved it. I gave it, what did I give it? 4.5 out of 5 stars, I think. This is the second book in the Dark Artifices series, the first one obviously being Lady Midnight. And I can't really explain much about what this book is about because you kind of have to read at least the Mortal Instruments. I haven't read the Infernal Devices yet, but I did just fine reading the Mortal Instruments and then starting this series. I don't know what happened in the Infernal Devices. I know it's like way long time before the Mortal Instruments, but it came out after the Mortal Instruments. And I've heard that you need to read the Infernal Devices and then Lady Midnight, but I mean, I'm doing just fine having read Mortal Instruments and then Lady Midnight. But yeah, this is the second one in that series, and it is amazing, so check it out. So there you go, guys. That is my May book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's any of these books that you have read, let me know what you thought about them down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye!